Oxford may have kicked off the football season on Friday night, but they'll want to forget this one as soon as possible. They were reduced to 10 men after James Clark was sent off before the break. Newly promoted Barrow seemed determined to open their Blue Square Premier campaign in style, and duly did.
Here comes a free kick. It's in! Mark Boyd caught Hinchcliffe off balance and scores the first goal of the Blue Square Premier season, and it goes to the new boys, Barrow, who have the lead over Oxford.
Things got worse for the United keeper as he gave away the penalty for Barrow to double their lead. And the home side made it 3 before the end for a miserable journey home for the travelling fans.
In the Blue Square Premier, it was a nightmare for Oxford in their first home match of the new campaign. A second straight defeat came this time at the hands of Weymouth at the Kassam Stadium. Former Didcot striker Stuart Bevan's early goal enough to send Oxford second bottom in the table after 2 games.
6-3, more of a tennis score than a football result. Oxford served up a couple of early aces against Eastbourne. They were on the back foot as James Constable got the first with some good work close to the net. And Oxford looked like they'd broken Borough with Levi Reid's powerful second. Then the fight back as Oxford struggled to deal with floated passes into their area. Before they knew it, Eastbourne had gone from being back in the game to back on level terms. Oxford hadn't scored or won a point in their previous 2 games, but this time luck was on their side. You don't get many goals like this going your way. Just as they were gifted a goal, they gifted their opponents a way back. But then Oxford pulled away. Constable was denied, but transfer listed Eddie Hutchinson was not. 4-3. Constable got a deserved second after a cross from Yemi Odebaid. 5-3. The game was wrapped up by Barry Quinn's late header. Game 7 match to Oxford. Almost anything that could have gone wrong for Oxford did at Wrexham. The match still in its infancy, and they went a man down. And Luke Foster couldn't complain about the penalty awarded against him. You could debate whether the red card which followed was appropriate, but there weren't too many arguments from Oxford. A chink of light followed. Former Oxford striker Jefferson Louis saw his penalty well saved by Jake Cole.
And to give them the lead, Jake Cole with the save in the Oxford goal, and it remains 0-0.
But it was the Alamo for the rest of the half, Wrexham missing chance after chance before eventually finding the net. Steve Evans heading home.
And he's met at the back post.
Oxford's legs went as injury time began, Louis making amends for his penalty miss by cementing Wrexham's win. Oxford United haven't been covering themselves in glory of late, and they were held to a bank holiday bore draw by Woking. No goals at the Kassam Stadium, though Chris Carruthers hit the bar. Oxford keeper Jake Cole kept out the best the visitors had to offer. Not for the first time this season, Oxford had one of those days. They hit the woodwork again in the second half through Lewis Haldane. They're now 18th in the conference.
Oxford were on the brink of another defeat, this time at Ebbsfleet. Make what you will of this challenge, enough to be deemed worthy of a second sending off this season for Luke Foster at the end of the first half. United then went behind, Michael Gash finishing off a flowing move from the home side. But 10-man United somehow salvaged a point. In the last minute of stoppage time, Levi Reid found a way to rescue United for an all-important point.
Maybe there is light at the end of the tunnel for Oxford United, who for the first time in more than a year managed to come from behind to win. Northwich took the lead through Darren Stamp, but Oxford weren't fazed. They'd never won at Northwich, or even drawn, or even managed a goal in 2 previous visits. So when James Constable equalised, they probably knew things were looking up. And he was wrestled to the ground for the penalty which brought Oxford's winner. The keeper avoided a red card and saved Jamie Guy's spot kick. But Constable was there at the double to earn United's first away win of the season. United stretched their unbeaten run to 4 matches, but there weren't too many smiling faces at full time at the Kassam Stadium. After losing top scorer James Constable to injury, the man who replaced him, Yemi Odebaid, put Oxford in front with 18 minutes to go. He made good use of the wet pitch for his celebration as well. But the visitors Kettering are unbeaten all season. They maintained that run when they scrambled in a last-minute equalising goal, which came after a free kick. Oxford United lost for the first time in 5 games, and at Kidderminster for the first time since 1959. Matthew Barnes-Homer with the only goal of the conference game at Agborough. Considering they were up against the league leaders, Oxford started brightly. Yemi Odebaid denied by the woodwork twice. He doesn't score many headers, it's usually his pace that causes defences trouble. and he won the penalty that led to Oxford taking the lead. He converted it, and Crawley were behind. But the Sussex side hit back. They hit Oxford United hard, and John Paul Pittman hit the ball hard for the equaliser. The winner inevitably came from the former Oxford United man Jamie Cook. Born and bred in Witney, he was on hand to head in the loose ball. It surely had to be on the line after a run of bad results, but his team battled for him. They gave him their best performance of the season and the best result. They went in front early on, Jamie Guy with his first goal for the club, and Guy took his goal celebrations to his manager on the touchline and dedicated the win to him. You have to remember Oxford rarely win Tuesday night home games. They never win on Setanta, so it wasn't much of a surprise when Cambridge equalised. Oxford wobbled, but they weren't out for the count, and they scrambled their way back in front, Adam Murray refusing to be denied when others found their way to goal blocked. Normally the script dictates this is where the visitors get a late equaliser, and there was another goal, but it was to Oxford and to Lewis Haldane. The scene suggests Patterson has earned a reprieve. Talk of relegation, talk of administration weren't heard much after this game.
Celebration time for Oxford United.
The sun may have been basking in East Sussex on Saturday, but dark clouds are brewing once more over the Cassamp Stadium. Joe Burnell had seemed to lift some of the pressure on manager Darren Patterson with the opener in the second half. But as often happens, a former player returned to spoil things as Michael Standing levelled for Lewis, who went on to score the winner 2 minutes from time. The result leaves Darren Patterson heading back into trouble once again.
A week after losing to the bottom club Lewis, the team with the best away record in the conference were dispatched at the Cassamp Stadium by Oxford. Barry Quinn put them in front. Phil Traynor extended the lead just after half-time. But it just wouldn't be Oxford without some late flutters. Darryl Clare's free kick got the pulses racing, and there'd be hearts in mouths before the final whistle. Rushton, though, ended the game with 10 men after a controversial sending off. Oxford ended the game with 3 points.
This was a battle of informed Torquay against inconsistent Oxford, and it was the home side who drew first blood when Chris Robertson was allowed a straightforward route to goal through the keeper's legs. United were down in Devon, but they certainly weren't out. Their stirring second half fight back brought them close, then it brought them an equaliser. Teenager Sam Deering provided the delivery for the goal, but Phil Traynor's scoring was a mere formality.
They've got the goal, it's Traynor.
United left Torquay with a point, and it might have been more. Many felt they should have had a penalty, Oxford's manager in particular.
Now, their strikers certainly weren't on fire in last weekend's game at Altrincham. The defence wasn't hot either. United are currently just a point above the relegation zone.